you don't have to just be anti something. What about being pro something else?
Yeah.
And then now you've got a brand opportunity there, right?
Introducing Recorded Content, a podcast for small, scrappy B2B marketing teams who want to get the most out of podcasting. In each episode, we capture stories from industry experts and podcasters. Listen in and uncover what it takes to launch, run, and grow a successful B2B podcast. Check out and subscribe to the show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Let's jump in.
Hey, I'm Tristan. I'm the co-founder of Motion and your host for this episode of Recorded Content. The show is brought to you by Motion, a done-for-you podcast agency for small, scrappy B2B tech marketers. In today's episode, we're going to explore the often misunderstood concept of thought leadership. It's a term that gets thrown around quite a bit in marketing circles, and it's often a big reason companies look to produce podcasts. But what does it really mean? And why is it so important for businesses to establish themselves as thought leaders in their industry? Now, I plan to give my own perspectives on these questions, but instead of just hearing from me, I wanted to fold in some different perspectives from interviews featured on another show we own at Motion called the Notorious Thought Leader. This is a podcast for B2B marketers who want to generate demand by creating content that builds credibility and thought leadership. And our friend Erin Balsa hosts the show, and she demystifies thought leadership and uncovers how marketing leaders and CEOs are using thought leadership to generate demand. So hopefully by sharing some of my own experiences and pulling in other perspectives from the Notorious Thought Leader podcast, you'll get an idea of how a podcast can help position your company as a thought leader. To get started, I'd like to talk about the difference between a subject matter expert and a thought leader. In a lot of cases, these two terms are used interchangeably, but they are very different.
Not all B2B companies have thought leaders on their bench. And I guess I would say it's kind of a qualified no. I don't think that they should never do thought leadership, but I do think that there are many companies that should not do it now because, building thought leadership takes a lot of development and coaching of those thought leaders. Yes, they have the subject matter expertise, but subject matter expertise and thought leadership are not synonymous.
That was a clip featuring Christopher Fox, the founder and managing partner of Synchrosis. I agree with Christopher because there's a difference between having deep subject matter expertise and also having the ability to share it. And this is where a podcast comes in for many companies. Over the years, I've seen folks with deep expertise grow because of podcasting. I've seen customers and I've seen others in the industry grow as communicators. When you produce a podcast for your company consistently, it gives the subject matter experts within your organization a platform. And it's a platform that doesn't require you to stand in front of 1,000 people at some conference. But let's say you do have that platform. How do you go from being an expert to actually having leading thoughts?
Come up with an opinion that that will serve people. Come up with a hot take and share that and build your brand on that. Like that's an opportunity, right? And it's like, you don't have to just be anti something. What about being pro something else?
Yeah.
And then now you've got a brand opportunity there, right? Instead of saying like, I think people that work hard, like buds, burn it. It's like, that's not a stance.
Right.
It's an anti-stance. So it's like, I think it's a missed opportunity for, it's like, tell me what you're for then. And now you will have followers.
That was a quote from Devin Bramhall, a marketing advisor and former CEO of Animals. Personally, I get tired of all the hot takes, whether it's a thread on Twitter or a LinkedIn post. Everyone feels like they have to point out the enemy. But in this case, I like what Devin suggests. Pick a side and be a proponent for that side. This doesn't mean you always have to point out the negative to build a case for your point of view. And I feel a podcast can be a big help in this area. When your company creates a show, you can build a body of work for your point of view. A podcast can help you gather case studies of customers, create a dialogue with other professionals in the industry, and it could be a vehicle for you to present your case over a long period of time. Which brings up another point. When it comes to thought leadership, is this something that a company strives for, or is it just for individuals?
Take my company, for instance. So Seismic, we're focused on sales enablement. And, right from training and onboarding salespeople and other client-facing people, right through the delivery of what they do, the measurement of what they do, and their advancing careers and success. We as a company ought to be a corporate thought leader in how to do that better. But there's room under that umbrella for people like me to try to become, I would say I am a subject matter expert today. I sort of aspire to being more of a thought leader, but I'm not going to try to duplicate the company's thing. I'm actually focused on one slice of it. I'm focused on social selling and employee advocacy, which is only one small part of what my company cares about. But I'm digging in deep to be the expert in that piece. And then some of my colleagues are digging in deep to be the experts in other pieces of it. And together, it humanizes and strengthens the company's position. So if you have a corporate thought leadership initiative, and then you have several people beneath that who are going deep on certain pieces of it, and then beneath that, you have dozens or hundreds of subject matter experts, well, now I think you're in a really strong position.
That was Steve Watt, the Director of Market Insights at Seismic. And I think Steve does a good job explaining the relationship between an individual thought leader and thought leadership at the company level. When an individual within a company establishes themselves as a thought leader in their field, it can then help to increase the company's credibility and reputation. The individual's personal brand can become closely tied to the company, and by association, the company's brand can get stronger. On the other hand, when a company establishes itself as a thought leader in its industry, it can help to attract top talent, build partnerships, and increase brand recognition overall. Well, I hope this episode helped identify some ways a podcast can build more thought leadership for both the professionals at your company and your company overall. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Recorded Content, a show brought to you by Motion, a done-for-you podcasting agency for B2B tech marketers. We do the podcast stuff so you can focus on strategy, building brand awareness, and developing new relationships. To learn more about how you can launch and grow a podcast for your company, check out motionagency.io. Thanks for listening to Recorded Content.